Well, hello, fellers. Well, hello, fellers. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. We're doing well, fellers. I can tell, fellers, that you're going and you're growing and you're growing strong. It's a Dad Dash Sunday evening with you. It's a Dad Dash Sunday evening. I think y'all need some entertainments. I think y'all need some entertainments. And I'm here to provide the entertainments for you. I am. So my current entertainments, if you will, is coming from the Pedro DoorDash Santiago's. We got a little bit of. I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm doing here. Yeah. There we go. There you go. You probably can't hear much because I ain't got the speaker over there. We don't really need to hear it. We just looking at how good they. Okay, so looks like our friend, what's our friend's name? This guy, Gig Drive and Thrive. Gig Drive and Thrive just left the show. Get Pedro, got Pedro, you got Pedro. Anyway, uh, interesting day it's been. Interesting day it's been because you got Pedro on his live show, and one of the things that you learn from the live show is that the chat has a lot of action, and I get confused by the chat sometimes. I get now you might see here that there's subscriber only mode. Hello, Vartan, my son. Hello, Vartan, my son. You see here the subscribe only mode. I ain't subscribed. Ain't subscribed. I ain't trolling. I ain't in the chat. No, I don't care about that. Not into it. Don't care. Ain't nothing to say. Well, there's stuff to say, but nothing that would help in that situation. I guess I'd say. Now, uh, we get comments like this one that do puzzle me and can serve as our entertainment, and that says miles are a gig worker's best friend. Okay, sir. Okay, miles are your best friends. Like, how are they your best friend? Um, you're using expendable, natural, and man-made resources to complete a low paying task on behalf of a global corporation. So, exactly how are the miles your best friend or anybody else's best friend? I mean, they might be DoorDash's best friend, I guess, but DoorDash is a corporation. DoorDash don't have no friends, right? DoorDash don't have no friends. I guess, let's see. There are wealthy billionaires that have friends. That's kind of an interesting thing. So friends are friends, I guess. Anyway, that's a very strange comment from a very strange individual who calls himself rideshare rodeo. I don't know what kind of advice that is from a perspective of if we assume that whatever this Pedro show is, that this is something beyond the most basic of entertainments. Well, then I'm getting mighty confused because that ain't accurate information. It's just not accurate information. I got my master's in business from Duke University Fuqua School of Business, and I got a bachelor's degree, a bachelor's in science in economics from Western Oregon State University. So I'm qualified to tell you these people don't know what they're talking about. I'm qualified to tell you they don't know what they're talking about. And see, this is the thing. I ain't here to troll Pedro. I ain't here to troll Pedro. I'm just telling him to stop being a cult leader and give bad gambling advice. But he's not stopping giving the bad gambling advice. Nor is Hadshir Hodio from Steve Johnson. I mean, what are these people accountable to? Who are they accountable to? What are they just doing on here lying to people for? I don't get it. I don't get it. They work for the oil company now? They work for the car companies? They want to sell you some cars? I mean, okay. Uh these people so old Pedro and this guy, nice young man. He even said some things I agree with. He's a little skeptical of the intentions of our oligarchs and government, and I think that's a good instinct this young man has. This young man does not, however, understand economics in any way, shape, or form. This young man and Pedro were talking about the inflation that is literally killing people in the United States. And so this very inflation that is literally killing people in the United States, starving them, putting them on the street and out of their house. These guys said, well, the DoorDash Corporation and the rideshare business gets hit by the inflation too. Well, yes, they do, but in the opposite direction. When things get more expensive, they just get a higher percentage of the higher costs. They're not supporting the fleet of cars. They're not buying the gas. They're not employing the humans. They're not giving the humans benefits or health care or time off or support or mental health care or anything else. They're not giving anybody anything. They're just taking a gigantic cut. So here's the problem, okay? What if I just told you that Jeff Thomas Black is now a huge Pedro fan and I really like Pedro? Okay, I do. Pedro, I like you. Okay, and this young man right here, this guy, no problem with you, sir. You might be a little bit confused politically and economically, but who's not? We're living in a world of propaganda here. So I like you both, but you're incorrect. You're factually incorrect. You're factually incorrect about the most fundamental parts of the gig economy, which is that people are using their own assets and burning up their own assets in order to attempt to survive, while the global corporations are enslaving them, making them insane, and driving them into lifelong and endemic poverty and homelessness. What part of this do we not understand? What part of this seems personal to you? Look, subscribers only. I ain't a subscriber to the channel. I ain't trolling anybody. I'm trying to tell you something that might save your life. For fuck's sake, here. Let's start paying attention in class. Remember when Pedro said, I'm going to teach you something? You need to start paying attention in class? Well, he wasn't lying to you on that. But you better pay attention to somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. You better pay attention to somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, because the other people are either lying to you or the two in they are factually incorrect. They are ignorant, and even if they are ignorant, not of their own free will, even if they're not intentionally ignorant, they are ignorant, and they are giving you terrible, 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 toxic, humanity destroying information, society destroying information. So what problem do we have with the have I even said the word? Have I said the word glitchgate yet? I don't think I even have. I do not think I have. I might be ignoring the glitchgate. Oh my goodness, what am I ignoring the glitchgate for? Don't we care about the glitchgate? No, we don't. You know what glitchgate is? It is your signal that these guys are not telling you everything you need to know. And they're making excuses for the reasons that they got away with knowing stuff you don't. Now, this guy, I don't think did know anything that you don't. I don't get the feeling this guy knew any of that stuff at all. But he's playing a patsy to this guy who did know stuff that you don't and didn't tell you. Now, I don't know. You can decide for yourself. Maybe you guys can tell me which you like less. Do you like less the people that are straight up lying to you, or do you like less the people that are ignorant and just telling you incorrect information? I mean, does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter whether they're giving you incorrect information out of the ignorance, or whether they're giving you the incorrect information out of their own uh, defective noggin? I don't think it does. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters what our intentions are. I don't think it matters if I'm a nice guy or not. I am a nice guy. I'm a really fucking nice guy. I'm really nice to everybody. I love everybody, but you know what? They don't like me back. They just don't like me back because I just like the truth too much. I just like to talk to you about the truth because what else matters? What else matters? I ain't got nothing to sell you. Hello, Room. Hello, Robert Reese. I appreciate you very much, sir, as the news channel, and I appreciate you speaking the truth about your feelings, regardless of anything else, because I am forced also to do that, sir. I am forced also to do that, sir. And it does not matter who Jeff Thomas Black likes. It does not. Um, you know, if we want to start talking about music, I'll give you some good music. You tell me my music sucks, we're gonna have a fight. We're gonna have a fight because I love my music. I love my music. I ain't gonna fight to you about economics. I mean, you can be wrong. I'm one of the better economic economists around. I just am. I just am. Been doing it a long time. I got an audience that knows these things. It just ain't you. You ain't my audience. I've been writing for academics and journalists and people that read about economics and civil rights and business for many, many years now. They know me very well. They don't know me like you do. They know me as a different guy. Okay, that's fine. I'm a lot of people. We're all a lot of people. We all got different parts of life. We're parents sometimes. We're partners sometimes. We're children sometimes. We're sons and daughters and mothers and fathers and all those kinds of things. Uncles and aunts and cousins. We're friends. I don't really believe in the whole enemies thing. I think that's very foolhardy. I don't think we know enough to be enemies of other human beings. I think that's very unwise to go be stomping around on nature trails looking to punch people in the teeth. I don't think you want to do that. I don't think that'll turn out as good as you think it might. And I don't suggest you ever take that course of action. I do not. And the people that suggest you should are also giving you incorrect information. They are giving you incorrect information. Now I'm an old guy. You might look at that. Why do I like my Dad Dash character so much? Because Dad Dash is as old as I fucking feel right now. I feel old as fuck. I feel old as time itself. I feel like death is staring me right in the eyes on the nature trail, and death's a lot scarier than old Pedro Glitch Dash Poopy Pants Santiago. Yeah, I mean, I got an appointment with death. That's for real, and I know that. See, because I've been there before. I've been in some very unusual situations. So these folks is barking up the wrong tree. Old Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin, or whatever the hell his real name is, I get the feeling maybe he is just a real guy and he's not the bad actor I thought he was, but he sure did bark up the wrong tree with some incorrect information. He sure did bark up the wrong tree with the incorrect information. I listened to that gentleman talk about me with a psychopath, some named Tommy. I listened to this man have a conversation where this man was talking about where I was living, where my kids were living, where I was going next. And he seemed to be kind of fascinated with my whereabouts and how I might meet some bad activity. And, Dad Dash Steve Axkin is right there cheering along and talking and a talking and a talking and a yakking about how Jeff Thomas Black did this and said that and did this. None of those things true, and what I want and why I'm doing this and what he thinks I believe, no, all of which is untrue. Not just patently untrue, but I mean, I have a personal relationship with this man. We've had a lot of dialogue. I don't know how many telephone conversations we had. I don't know. We texted many, 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 many hundreds of times. We had at least two or three or four telephone conversations. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But he's somebody I thought of as a friend and confidant. And when he leaked the glitch to me, when he leaked that the glitch had been leaked, which he did on a Friday night, and then the next night or the next morning, I did a video for you saying, "Hey, it's the beginning of the end of the DoorDash." And why is it the beginning of the end of the DoorDash? It's not because we found a glitch, and the glitch does something with your acceptance rate, or the glitch exposes Pedro Poopy Pants DoorDash Santiago, or it exposes rideshare rodeo Steve, right? That ain't why it's interesting. It's interesting because this is your worldly proof that you've been getting bad information. You've been getting bad information. They've been telling you this is some kind of a game you can play and win, but you can't. You can't win the game. You cannot win the game. And so if they's telling you their strategies to do better in the game or win the game, they're lying to you. And that's a problem because this is gambling, right? This is not a job. This is not legitimate employment. This is not a fair market. This is not market based. This is simply only and totally a human exploitation machine. That's all the corporate AI is. Now you can get passionate about that. You can say I don't know what I'm talking about. You'd be factually incorrect. You would be very factually incorrect to think I don't know what I'm talking about because, well, I've worked in the high tech industry. I've worked in the global software industry. I've traveled all over the world, spoken all over the world, studied with the some of the brightest engineers. I ain't an engineer, but I'm a pretty good translator. That's my job. I'm a word person. Okay, so I know how the software works. I know a lot of people in the business world. I went to school with some of the smartest people I've ever met. I was not on the top half of the intelligence scale of my class at Duke University, master's in business administration program. I can tell you, I was an inferior IQ if that thing ever mattered, which it does not. We might as well get calipers and measure our testicles. That's about how important the IQ is. That's about how important the IQ is. And I'll tell you a little interesting fact about me. Never taken an IQ test in my life. I don't believe in the numbers. I don't think that's relevant in humanity. And when I was growing up as a kid, and I was doing pretty well on them tests and the standardized test and all that kind of stuff. When I was doing that, uh, they said, "Can we give your kid an IQ test?" And my mom said, "No, you cannot. I don't believe in it, and I don't think it's relevant. You cannot." And so, my parent declined the school requests over my school career to give me an IQ test, and I've never had one, and I don't know what my IQ is. I've had people ask me, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why would it matter? Okay, my IQ matters as much as Pedro does in the DoorDash scam, which is not at all. You get it? It ain't about me. It ain't about him. It ain't about my IQ. Do you want the truth or do you want to be lied to? Because there's an entire world full of global corporations that are going to lie to you every hour, every day you're ever alive. They lied before you were born. They're going to lie after we're all dead, which might be pretty soon. Which might be pretty soon. I don't want it to be soon because I've enjoyed my life hell of a lot, and at 55, I think I got quite a bit more life in me, assuming I am allowed to live it by you know by the uncertainties of life and that are coming in, and also by the uncertainties of some very bad people in this world. Some very bad people in this world that seem to have a profession of giving you incorrect information. Now we're back to this incorrect information. Are they giving it to you because they're ignorant, because they don't know economics, because they didn't get a bachelor's degree in economics and then they didn't go to business school and become a specialist in understanding global business and then they didn't go on and study economics and global business and global software development for 20 or 30 years? Well, they haven't. They haven't done those things. I have. I have done those things. In fact, I'm a public guy. You can find me on the LinkedIn. You can just find old Dad Dash Jeff Thomas Black on LinkedIn, and you can just look at my resume and where I've been and who I worked for and who worked for me. And so, well, these things are public information, but you ain't getting the good information, are you? You getting the bad information. You getting the Dad Dash information. What the hell? No, no, the Dad Dash 13 information. I am Dad Dash. I am Dad Dash, and I will stay Dad Dash. My identity now is Dad Dash Jeff Thomas Black. Um, Dad Dash can be Steve Dad Dash or Dad Dash 13 or whatever the hell he wants. I'm Dad Dash. I'm Dad. I'm the Dad Dash, the only Dad Dash, the real Dad Dash. Steve has lost his position. He lost his opportunity to be the Dad Dash because he's lying to you every day. Now I don't know why. I don't know if Steve is honestly stupid, if Steve is took a wrong turn and got himself all confused. I don't know why, but I don't know. Also, don't know why he to sit there and tell you my motivations and tell some story about my book and what it does and does not say, and why it was and was not written, and what the meaning is. He ain't giving you decent information. He's giving you very, very incorrect information. Is he doing that intentionally or unintentionally? Well, Steve, I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know, Dad Dash 13, why you're doing it. I don't know why Steve Johnson's doing it. Well, I know it's economically involved, or it might be involved somebody threatening them or their future or their business or their family. I mean, if we want to believe UDM claimed the day that I learned this from Dad Dash and the next day that I told the world about it in my video called The Beginning of the End of DoorDash, uh, we know that UDM was claiming that he had personal threats against him and potentially his family, and that he was no longer going to talk about this. Now, I didn't say that. He said that. Now, and we've seen a lot of people make overt public threats on the YouTube since then, which I find very interesting because they should obviously know that there are three-letter organizations in this world that have artificial intelligence scanning the internet for threats. And making the threats on the YouTube's a really bad idea. It's a bad career decision. It's a bad life decision. You're getting bad information here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't not only don't make threats in real life, but certainly don't do them on the internet. Certainly don't do them in writing. You're going to get yourself in big trouble here. People are cruising for some very bad things, but some of these people, this Tommy character and this Roy character, they got a criminal mindset. They live behind the bars. They want to find people like me and hurt them allegedly. That's what they say anyway. And so that makes life a little interesting for people like me because these people look like real psychopaths. They don't look like fake psychopaths. They don't look like pretend psychopaths. They look like the real psychopaths. And so, you got to wonder what people that talk about those kind of things about other human beings in the real world, you got to wonder what's wrong with them because something's real wrong with them. They're giving you bad information. They're giving you real bad information. However, you're following it, whether you're participating and cheering them on or offering to give them 5 cents. This man, this Tommy character, this man with the criminal mindset, who looks like maybe one of the most evil individuals I ever seen in my life. Not that I generally look at people as individuals, but the man just oozes evil off the screen. Well, this Tommy fella, he's saying there's people want to be doing some GoFundMe so he can go track individual people down and hurt them in any way, shape, or form that he chooses to do so. Well, I think that's mighty strange. That's beyond mighty strange. That's just organized criminal activity that's going to get people behind bars with felonies. That's what that is. That's what that is. And that ain't old dad dash Jeff Thomas Black doing. I ain't calling nobody. I ain't your law. I don't police YouTube, but I'm telling you, there are people that do. If you want to get yourself caught, why don't you go on the internet and do some nefarious activities? Do your drugs or whatever kind of illicit sexual activity or whatever, and you go document that on your internet, and then you wait for the knock on the door. You're going to have a great time. You're going to enjoy yourself because your life's going to get real interesting because you're going to get caught is what's going to happen. Now, I don't suggest you do any of those things in the real world, again, but these folks not only insist about thinking about these things, these folks insist on broadcasting them out to the world. It's fascinating. I think people actually lost their noodles, or maybe these people believe that our time on Earth here is so short and so invaluable that it don't matter anymore. And that's kind of actually my Jeff Thomas Black hypothesis is that these people are just thrown in the towel for evil. They just think everybody's. I mean, that seems to be Dino of saying it like it was. It seems to be Dino's theory on humanity now. Is it just we're a bunch of fucking useless criminals, and we're all just going to eat each other alive until we're all dead? What a glorious view of the future that guy has. What a glorious view of the future that guy has. My goodness, what's wrong? What is literally wrong with these people? I mean, somebody put in the chat. I'm going to read your chat here for a minute, but let's tell me what's actually wrong with these people because I do not understand. They're giving you bad economic information. They're giving you bad gambling information. They're giving you bad life information. They're giving you bad YouTube information. How much bad information you got time for in your life? I don't understand. I do not understand how you have so much time for bad information and you're working in the impoverished position of a gig worker. I don't understand. I don't understand how you have time to be in a cult. I don't understand how you have time to destroy your only vehicle and ruin your finances and be homeless. I don't know how you do it. Well, Steve, I listened to that Steve today, that Steve Dad Dash. And here's the funny thing Steve's talking about me, and he says, well, Jeff Thomas Black's a Duke MBA. And so he's just not tough enough and a good enough to be a gig economy worker. You see, he just ain't cut from the cloth that we cut from because that man that did 5,521 DoorDash deliveries and studied for this book and wrote this book for you over the last year and a half don't know what he's talking about. This man that's worked that's 55 years old, got a 30 plus year career of professionalism, don't know what he's talking about. You got to listen to me, Steve, Dad Dash 13. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? I don't understand. I don't understand, Steve the Dad Dash, where you jump the tracks of reality if somebody threatened your family, if somebody threatened you, if you had a brain aneurysm. I don't know what happened to you, but for you to be talking about the intentions of me, what I'm writing this book for, why I'm writing it, what you think about economics, and that I ain't tough enough. I ain't tough enough to be in your gig economy with your multi-acting spreadsheet system of success for which you have no viewers. I'm watching your live. What the hell are you talking about, man? You got nobody even watching you anymore. You ain't even making videos. You just walking around moping, wondering how you got on the Darth Vader on you side. Why, how you found yourself in the dark of the night. I don't know, son. You're hanging around with really stupid people and you're giving out bad information. You're giving out bad information about me. Not just bad information about me, but materially provable bad information, sir. You're just bad at your talking. and you're a psychopath, sir. What are you assuming, Steve? I hope you're watching here, Steve. I hope you are assuming that you are a man with children. I do not know if you are who you say you are, but assuming you are a father and a husband and a man with children, you laughing at somebody finding my location, tracking me down and hurting me, and laughing and sitting there chuckleheading along, you motherfucker. Yeah, you find me outside. Why don't you find me yourself on the nature trail, Steve? Why don't we find each other? Because I want to talk to you man to man. I want to talk to you on man to man on Robert Reese. I'll talk to you man to man anywhere because I want to know what's going on with you. I want to know who's threatening you or what they're giving you to spread these lies about me. They're so obviously untrue that you've ruined your own credibility in the world. Steve, Steve Dad Dash 13, you've ruined your own credibility in the world. People are laughing at you. You're hanging out with criminals, threatening to go travel across the country and do crime, and you're on this broadcast, sir. You're complicit in felonies. You want to watch your kids grow up from federal prison, you moron? What the fuck are you doing? A month ago you were my friend. A month ago you were calling me and giving me information about what you were thinking. I was saying, well, man, you can make an opportunity out of this. You can be a leader for the people. Give them good information, and then you do this shit. What the fuck are you doing, man? Did somebody threaten to break your legs? I don't understand. Why don't you come out and get right with the world? Because you're a laughing stock. You're an absolute laughing stock. He might be a floating head. It don't matter. It don't matter, Millie, because his intentions don't matter. My intentions don't matter. None of this matters. What matters is the facts. And what matters is that we are facing a global crisis for humanity of artificial intelligence that's enslaving people and not giving them the opportunity to have informed consent about whether they're getting exploited or not. Yeah. If someday you want to sign a slave contract, at least know you're going to be a slave. Don't get fooled into it. That's just even worse. You want to throw your life away? Throw your life away. I can't be the one to stop you. How am I going to stop you? How's Dad Dash going to stop you? But I'm telling you, you get morons like the Dad Dash, and you get morons like this giving you the bad information. You get Rideshare Rodeo, Hodeshare Hodeo telling you in his comments that Miles are your friend. How many cars you got? Are you Torp? Can you fix your car like Torp? You got three different cars that you can rotate and fix daily for your own fleet of commercial vehicles, because then you're in business. If you got a fleet of commercial vehicles that you're rotating in and you got yourself a mechanic staff, you're in business. You're an independent contractor. Congratulations. Congratulations. But running your car into the ground don't make you an independent contractor. That just makes you another victim. And miles are not your friend. Who you think's paying for the gas? Who you think's paying for the electrical truck? Whatever. Who you think's paying for it? You are. Who you think's going to pay for your next car? You are. This don't make no sense. These people are talking in gibberish to you. And if you can't tell the difference between somebody speaking in words or writing in words that you can understand and read and follow with logic and facts, and somebody that's got the qualifications to be talking to you about economics or not, or finances or not, if you can't tell the difference between that and this, well, son, daughter, whatever, friend, you just done. You're done. You're cooked. You're over. You fell for the scam, and if you want to fall for the scam and you want to throw your life away, you can do it. I can't stop you. But I'm telling you the truth. You don't have to know it. You don't have to want to know it. You don't have to accept it. Don't matter. None of it matters. Pedro don't matter. We're all footnotes in history. We're all already dead in the cosmic dance. Okay. We're here for a blink. Our life is a little blink of an eye. You want to spend it like a piece of shit like Dino telling people that organized crime is the way we should live, and it's just which rat can eat the other rat fast enough, or fastest. Well, if you want to be like Dino and his pals, well, then join the organized crime ring and be in organized crime. I mean, I guess you don't have any kids and you don't care about the future and you don't care about humanity. I mean, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. I don't have people. I don't have time for in my life for people like that. I don't make time in my life for people that are irrelevant. When I was given my advice and my comments to the Pedros of the world and to the Dad Dashes of the world, I was doing that to help them. I was doing that to help them and give them good information. Now, if they don't want my good information, well, I just go away. I ain't going to force my good information on you. If you want to go around telling people lies about me, or you want to take my good information and tell people it don't exist and it's not true, you want to steal it. Like Pedro used to love going around going, well, Dad Dash says everyone's a market of one. And I like that about Dad Dash. And I'm like, no, Jeff Thomas Black said everyone's a market of one. And I taught Dad Dash 13 that, and Dad Dash 13 went out and recommended my book in his reviews, or in his video notes, in his YouTube notes, and told people what he learned from me, which was fine. I mean, I give my stuff away freely. You can all take my videos, you can put them on your channel, you can grow your YouTube subscriber, you can, you know. I hope you support Robert Reese, the news channel. I hope you support Glitch Dash, Thomas Schubeck, that bastard that just insists on telling everybody truth and transparency every night. Every night he's just out there with truth and transparency, and people are going, well, wait, Thomas, you just keep showing up every night with the truth and the transparency, and you're not gaslighting people or lying to anybody. What's the deal with this? You ain't as crazy as they said you were. And he says, no, no, I'm not really any crazier than anybody else. I'm just a guy. I got lied to. I got fleeced. Can't make any money. Starving to death. Just trying to feed my family. And they go, oh, well, you're kind of cool. And he's like, yeah, well, I am, but I'm not really. But he is kind of cool. I love the man. I think Thomas Schubeck's one of our great heroes. He's one of the leaders. I ain't your leader. I ain't your leader. I said that from now. This is another thing, right? Dad Dash allegedly read this in the book. Well, there's reading and there's comprehension. If you can read, but you can't comprehend what you're reading, I can't help you. You might have to read it twice. You might have to read it three times. You might have to read it four times. You might have to read it five times. But guess what? How many times do you think I had to read it to write it? How many times do you think I had to read it to study it? I had to read it 50 times. That's why it takes so long to write a book. Do you think you got to read it twice? I got to read it 50 times, and I got to put it in words that make sense to you. You think that's an easy job? Why don't you take my job? Because I get paid $0.00 per day and per word while I write. So, yes, sir, you just want my job. Why don't you do that? Then you can also pay your money out of your own pocket to make documentary films about civil rights. It's a great business. Now, you have no idea when I'm going to start taking advantage of you. It's going to be soon. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to turn into a predatory capitalist at some point in my life, because that's how I roll. No, it's not how I roll. I don't care about your money, because you know what? I don't have any, and you don't either. You're playing with somebody else's money supply. You're in a monopoly game. Everybody else has got the monopoly money, and you're sitting there with a bunch of Cheetos, and you're pretending you're playing Monopoly, and you got yourself a stack of Cheetos. That's what you're playing. You ain't even in the game, nor am I. I got a stack of Cheetos. My Cheetos might even be moldier than your Cheetos. And Cheetos got to be pretty damn old to grow the mold, because Cheetos is meant to last a long time, just like the nuclear bombs and all that kind of stuff. That's toxic shit, right? So we just consume this toxic shit that the corporate world feeds us, and then they say, well, you got to like our toxic shit because our toxic shit's the best toxic shit there is. And we got people like the Pedro DoorDash Poop Pants Santiago, who says, look, I don't know. I don't really give people advice. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who looks like Charles Manson, and I'm allowed to give people shitty advice. And this guy comes on, he goes, I'm a nice guy. I'm kind of conservative. I'm kind of skeptical of the government. I seem like a pretty straightforward guy, but I got my head up my ass because I talk about things I'm not qualified to talk about. And I talk about it like I know something. I talk about how the place of corporations in the global economics, and I don't understand those things, but I talk about them like I do. That's just bad and incorrect information. So this guy's name is Gig Drive and Thrive. Okay, now Gig Drive and Thrive. Also, I watched a little bit of this interview, not much, but a little bit. This man's talking about the fact that his own mother, his very own mother, his flesh and blood mother, was a DoorDashing or gig tubing, not gig tubing, gig working. She was a laborer, and he said, "Well, you're going to start off pretty bad at it. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and yada yada yada." Okay, well, would you guys say that's fair? Is that people think that's a fair comment from this nice young man, that we're all going to start off and we're not going to be very good at it. We're going to be frustrated. And we're going to crash into a light pole, and we're going to put a dent in our car, and we're going to get a ticket at the red light because we're rushing. We think we have to rush to do this job because there's clock ticking, and we're all nervous and we don't know what we're going to do. And they could de-app us anytime we want. They could decapitate us. We're just at jeopardy all the time. They got us scared of our own shadow. And so this young man says, well, that's a good system. And, you can just make good decisions while you're scared for your life driving around in your own assets, not knowing what you're doing, mom. Okay, but does anybody see a problem with this system that corporations set up? So if you were an employee for a corporation, they would have to welcome you and train you and give you employee orientation and safety training, and they'd have to introduce you to AR to HR, who would tell you that if anybody's ever mean to you in the workplace or puts you in jeopardy, that they're your friend. They're not really your friend. HR is a bunch of scumbags, but that's all right. That's a whole different story. That's a different story. I got a lot of stories, but this ain't about HR. Yeah, it's a victim blaming. It's a victim blaming. But see, this is why we're in the gig economy, because we are, all of us together are the victims, the traditional victims of the world. We're the women, we're the people of color, we're the people of multiracial people. We are people who have traditionally been in the uh, blue collar industries, and we're the people that have always been underpaid, overworked, and enslaved. Whether it be real slavery, or whether it be wage slavery, whether it be app slavery, uh, uh, whether it be indentured servitude. I mean, come on, did we watch how the World Cup stadiums were built with slave labor for the last World Cup? I think that was in Dubai, if I remember correctly. Is that not problematic? I mean, I know we like to watch the guys run around on the football pitch. I like to watch I like to watch the Americans run around on our football pitch, on our other kind of football pitch. But at the expense of human life, at the expense of integrity and humanity and everything else, no. And I worry about the football. I worry about the both kinds of football, because sometimes they exhibit the worst in humanity, just like the worst of humanity of other organized crime and people that need to make money and profit, while the rest of us starve in squalor and houselessness, without medical care and without proper transportation. And now they want us to not even have employment. They want us to wake up every day in a cold sweat and go, how the hell am I going to support my family today? What am I going to do today to stay off the street? Well, I guess I'll do me some gig work. And so then these people convince themselves that if it weren't for this gig work that's enslaving them, that they'd even be worse off. But that's not true. That's not true. You can't be worse off than slavery. You can't be worse off than working for a loss. They're just giving you factually incorrect information. They're not, and they're giving you factually incorrect information intentionally, right? Every order, every offer from a gig app is fraud. It's corporate fraud against you, because they're giving you unsolvable equation. They're not giving you the full information that you need to make an economic decision, which is why anybody outside of the gig app space would immediately, in the real world, if you I mean, you go try it for yourself. You walk into 7-Eleven, you pick up yourself a Snickers bar, and you put a penny on the counter and say, I'm going to go ahead and take this Snickers bar home. Here's my penny. And they're going to go, no, you're not. That Snickers bar costs $1.25. And you say, well, I don't got $1.25. I'm going to give you a penny. I'm going to take the Snickers bar home. Well, no, you're not. No, you're not. So you see, you can't just pretend that the economics work when they don't. You can't just pretend that the economics work when they don't. You can't pretend that you're making money when you're losing money. You can't pretend that there's a payoff to the global gig app industry when workers are untrained, unsuccessful, and exploited before they even get started in the job. So most of them fail with a great loss. Most of them never make enough money to do anything. So okay, so then we're back to the world of saying it like it was with Dino the dinosaur. Dino the dinosaur. Dino's a crazy person. Well, he's either a crazy person or he's just completely evil. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. I don't know Nino. I don't want to know Dino. I think he's turned himself into some kind of a repugnant character, quite frankly. And again, I don't understand why. I mean, is this a thing like UDM? Is somebody threatening say it like it is and telling him to act like a stupid maniac? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know why people would just give up on all kinds of human morality and humanity and civilization and just suggest that everybody join organized crime rings until we all die. That just seems like bad plan to me. But but if Dino wants to give you that kind of advice from his person, I guess that's what he's going to do. But again, uh, Dino's just giving you just the terrible information because what he's telling you is that you're the loser and you're supposed to be happy being the loser because uh, he's there and his other people there in their criminal ring are going to win. And if you screw up their winning as the criminal ring and like level out the playing field, well, then this level playing field is poverty for everyone. So Dino wants to convince you, apparently, that you should support organized criminals who are exploiting you. Again, I disagree. Uh, Now, I'll give Dino credit for speaking and acting like a psychopath that he is. At least he's not hiding it. He's just giving you straight up just awful human behavior and blaming other people, which is what we do, right? The gig workers, most of them unsuccessful, right? So gig worker, even that's an anomaly, right? We're just a bunch of victims of corporate fraud. So the new victims of corporate fraud mostly get washed out real fast, right? They get washed out real fast. They ruin their car. They get a $250 ticket in their first week of work because they're rushing around. They are not paying attention. They get distracted driving. They drive the car straight into a ditch, straight into a pole. All these things that happen uh, all these things that happen are known. We all know these things, and nobody who had any other choice than pure desperation would do gig work because it's a terrible business proposition. It's a terrible business proposition. If it was a good business proposition, you think they'd give it to you? No, they'd be running their own fleets of cars and running their own fleets of gig workers and everything else. It's not, come. You got to be smarter. You got to be smarter than the people exploiting you. And so that means you need to find yourself a few people that are giving you good information and you need to cut everything else out. So I'll tell you something about myself, a little personal thing. So I'm a peace guy. I'm into peace. I'm into nonviolent direct action sometimes, standing right in the face of authority and saying no and just letting them do whatever they're going to do to you. That's what I believe in as a person. And there's a lot of people that don't believe in that. There's a lot of people that think violence solves things or that war solves things. I don't. I've never supported a war in my life, and I don't support any wars that anybody's in right now. I think it's unnecessary, and these wars are simply for the rulers of the world, the kings of the world, to profit off people dying. That's all they are. And anybody that says there's some ideological glory to people blowing other people into bits and leaving them in puddles of their own bodily fluids on the street, I respectfully disagree. So that's fine. We can disagree about war, but here's the thing. I don't follow the war. I assume we're in some wars right now. I don't have any time to look at them. It's not that they might not end my world. It's not that a nuclear bomb might not land on my house and just make me go poof in a minute, because that might happen. That seems to be what they're angling for. Uh, but I got nothing to say about it. I got nothing to do with it. I don't want to know about it. I can't change it. There's nothing I can do. I mean, so on one hand, it's one of the most important things in the entire world, but on the other hand, I've been a peace activist my entire life, and nobody cares what I think. Okay, now I can write a book about it. I will. I got lots of writing about it. I got lots and lots of words about it that you can read all over the internet and all over different places. But is that going to change anything? I'm not going to change anything in the global nuclear meltdown that we're going through right now. I can tell you what's going to happen economically. I'm pretty good at that, but I can't change any of it. So as this Steve Dad Dash 13 guy likes to tell you what my motivations are. So I want Steve suggests that I want retribution because I was not able to be successful in the multi app and gig economy domination like he has. So Steve Dad Dash has been successful in that game, and since I was not successful in that game, or I could not hack it in my 2 years and 5,521 deliveries for DoorDash, since I couldn't hack it, that I am bitter. And now I want to make DoorDash pay, and I want to make Pedro pay, and I want to make Gig Drive and Thrive pay for my anger at the world. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do I look angry at the world to you? How angry do I look on a scale of 1 to 10? I might be tired. I ain't angry. And being angry ain't gonna do anything. I laugh all day. I laugh at this shit. In fact, the only thing that keeps me going in this space with all of you is that this is some funny shit. This is absurd human behavior, right? I don't have to debate a Dino who talking about that we should all join the organized crime ring until the apocalypse. That's not a debate. That's not a debate. That's just entertainment, I guess. And bad information. I don't have to debate Pedro, who's talking about economics and don't know what he's talking about, or Steve Johnson, high chair Hodio, who's writing that Miles and petroleum are now your friends. Yeah, I mean, maybe petroleum is Steve Johnson's friends, but Steve Johnson's got a lot of really weird friends. I would not want to be one of Steve Johnson's friends, and I ain't his friend no more. I blocked that man because I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to troll him. I don't want to know him. I don't want to hear from him. The man is one creepy individual. Again, what kind of individual sits there and jokes about somebody else's life being interrupted by attacks, by physical attacks of insane felons? Nobody good. Nobody good. Dad Dash 13, Steve Askin ain't gonna redeem himself. Steve Johnson ain't gonna redeem himself. These people are irredeemable. They've ruined their credibility in this space. They can apologize and leave, I suppose. They can apologize and keep broadcasting. They can not apologize and keep broadcasting. It don't matter. My book is not about the scammers of the gig tube uh, organized crime uh, syndicate. The low level operatives like Pedro and Steve Johnson and whoever else is working for the Harry Campbells and the money men of that are doing all this stuff. Uh, not the that actually, I mean, look, that might be a second book. My second book might be about the Pedro and Steve Johnson and Steve Askin of Dad Dash and all these people that lied and betrayed me and you, right? Me and you, because when they're betraying me, when they're lying to you about my book and what the contents are and what I say and what my motivations are, they're not just lying about me, they're lying about your opportunity to get correct information. They're giving you incorrect information. And so I don't need them to be my friends. I mean, I blocked them. They are not my friends. I had their direct cell numbers and I blocked every one of them. To my knowledge, none of them blocked me. I don't know. I never checked. I ain't trolling people. I ain't stalking people. But if you betray me, you're going to be out of my life real fast. And so they're out of my life. They're out of my life. But they're out of your life too because you don't got time for that. You don't got time for that. Let's see what we got on the chats here. Let's see what we get on the chats here. Let's turn this. Turn the beat around. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if we can go full screen. Let's see what we got here. All right. We got everybody logging in. Hello to Eli Scrimp. Scrimp's got a surprise face. Okay. Vartan. Hello, Father Vartan. It's very good to see you. I always appreciate you. Sinful Toaster, you are a sinful appliance, and I do not trust you. I still blame you for my microwaves PTSD. Uh, Jeff, I attended the TVCC in Ontario, Oregon. Nice, nice. Oh, yes, I saw that, sir. Treasure Valley Community College. Yes. And I believe it or not, sir. Believe it or not, sir, I get around so much that I have been to that place. I have been to that place. I have kind of been every place uh, around this United States because I traveled for business for about 30 years. Um, Bud Soda. Yeah, Bud Soda. Bud Soda's just another guy out there just giving you bad information because Bud Soda's just a guy. He's just one guy experiencing this and he's giving you his information, but all information from DoorDash is by definition fraudulent and bad information. The Thrive guy is a clown. He's victim blame. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, I don't have to call him a clown. It's enough for me to say he's giving you factually incorrect information because I'm an economist and he isn't. Okay. And I'm an economist and Steve Johnson isn't. And I'm an economist and Pedro DoorDash Glitch Dash Poopy Pants Santiago is not. I don't have to prove that. It's just a fact. Brad Nelson, scam tubers. That's true. That's true. Look, we expect our content producers to be competent. And if they're going to be on there and give us information that's not competent, they should say this is information that's for entertainment. I really don't know my microeconomics from my macroeconomics from a sinful toaster. So anything I say about the economics and the inflation and anything else, don't listen to it because I don't know anything. That'd be fine. But when they're up here and they pretend and they got some kind of information for you on the economics and they're giving you bad information, my goodness, what? How bad can this be? How treacherous is this industry? Robert Reese, hello, sir. Millie B, Robert Bradley, yes, sir. Hello. Jaded Driver, Jaded Driver, does the glitch still work on Android? The glitch works everywhere, sir. The glitch works everywhere. I watch that glitch dash bastard every night. That Thomas Schubeck every night. People are logging in, going in, sharing those glitches, sharing those hacks, making sure that we're all working on a level playing field. We're no longer the victims of the YouTubers and the gig tubers that were part of a little society in which they got to exploit you. We don't need to be part of that anymore. We're now all part. We're now on a level playing field. We're now on the beautiful beauty of a level playing field. You don't want to play soccer on a tilted plate field, right? You don't want to play the football on a tilted field. That would be unfair. Okay, I measure Bertrand centimeter side. Yes, I assume you're talking about testicular caliper measurement. Yes, yes, sir. Uh, Stevie Nicks. I do a fine Stevie Nicks impression, like a wild dove. I do. Hello, Briggs. Welcome. Always good to see you. Can you teach me how to punch cars? Well, punching cars is like punching walls. It's a little hazardous on the bones in your hand. If you know anybody that gets has the mental issues that makes them punch inanimate objects, it's often good to remind them that punching and kicking the inanimate objects ends in a bone breakage. That's just a little dad dash salt of the earth information there. I've watched some friends and family break feet and hands kicking inanimate objects. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. I'm a father. I'm a dad. I do not recommend the kicking and punching of inanimate objects or animate objects. But I mean, I guess we just need to focus on one thing at a time. Dab the haters, yes. Dab. That's I now see when you said dab, I was thinking the marijuana because I live in Oregon. Dab the haters. That's like a dance the kids do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Scrimp. Yep, the kid dance. If they crowd fund to see people out of to commit common felonies, I'm curious if they will use dash along the way feature. Yes, sir. Wild Alaska. I think you got something there. I think you got some kind of an economic opportunity. Like hitman on the way. Can we do like a traveling hitman? Like a hit on the way, like I can do like a hit in Provo, Utah, and then I can move along over to the Missouri and do like a hit in St. Louis and then go a little bit south and do like a hit in over in Indiana, maybe in the Bloomington area. I could do myself a hit, like hit along the way. I like it. I like it, Wild Alaska. I like it. I like it. I think we need a good population base. I'm not sure you're in the right place for our business proposition, but we will focus on that, sir. What do you think about Dad Dash going to the Nasdaq? Well, um, okay, DoorDash going to the Nasdaq. Well, that's an interesting move. So why would a corporation go from the New York Stock Exchange to the Nasdaq? And this is something I wrote about very briefly. I posted very briefly, and I'll give you my quick opinion without studying it a lot. The only thing that makes sense to me is that those different exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange versus the Nasdaq, those have different transparency and financing requirements. You have to qualify to have your stock publicly listed on those exchanges. So moving from the New York Stock Exchange to the Nasdaq a an index of and a market of more liquid, newer technology, maybe read scam and illegitimate type corporations. And I think that tends to fit the business model of DoorDash better than the New York Stock Exchange, which is traditionally for corporations that had investments in employees and assets and uh, and had in at least some way legitimate businesses instead of pure fraud. So that would be my short summary of my thoughts on that. I raised you a fun one, yes. Arizona Prod, good to see you, my friend. Vartan, Thrive is an idiot. He's victim blaming, yes, sir. Well, yeah. I mean, I think incorrect information. You can call people whatever you want, but they're given the incorrect information, either rightfully or wrongfully. Uh, Mike Zisman, hello. Nice to see you, Sinful Toaster. Yeah, boomers first victims. Well, I mean, my parents are the boomers, so that we were born to boomers, or at least I was. Brian DoorDash Sucks was, Torp was, DoorDash Revolution was, Robert Reese was. We were born to boomers. Our parents are the boomers, Sinful Toaster. And so we understand our parents. We understand where they came from. We understand that our grandparents were in World War II. We understand that our parents and our parents' generation was in Vietnam. We got a lot of understanding that you guys don't have. But you know who doesn't have that understanding? Well, a lot of these people on GigTube that are giving you life advice and bad gambling advice. That's who doesn't have it. Uh, Sinful Toaster. Let's see here. Hold on one second. On that. Let's look at that. I got the ability to make it bigger for you. Let's see here. All right. Victim blaming. It's your fault. Yes. Yes, yes. Vartan Thrive was a jerk saying it's our fault. Yes, I agree. He did not come off well on that. It came off very snobby and insincere and incorrect. How long have you been doing gig work? Well, Mike Zisman, I did gig work from July 2021 to July 20, or no, I'm sorry, July 2020 to July 2022. So I did gig work over a 2 year period. I did 16 months of gig work, and I earned $48,000 during that time. I have made my spreadsheets and my spreadsheets. I have made Dad Dash's spreadsheets publicly available multiple times, and I will continue to do so. I'll do a podcast sometime. Maybe I'll do a broadcast one of these days once we get through this little bit of drama, and I'll show you what my actual earnings were and what but basically it's very simple. I mean, I made 16,000 each calendar year. I made 16,000 in 2020. I made 16,000 in 2021. I made 16,000 in 2022, each from DoorDash in three different states: Oregon, Washington, and Indiana. So I got a lot of experience in the industry uh, and in finance and everything else. And I've been talking to the restaurants. I've also worked in and run a restaurant that used the gig economy to distribute. So I understand the restaurant business side too. Uh, well, you're just getting bad information from the Pedros and the Dad Dashes that are telling you that I don't know what I'm talking about here. I don't need to toot my own horn, but you don't need to believe them that information doesn't exist that can show you the truth, because it does, and it has, and it will, and it does right now. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to listen to any more people lying to you. That's why Glitchgate matters. That's the only reason Glitchgate matters. It exposes to the world that you're just playing a one-armed bandit. You're just playing a slot machine for a living. It's a bad living. You ain't gonna survive. You're gonna lose. One car problems down 1 month. Yes, exactly. Well, that's what ended. You know my story, or many of you do. My last gig work was in 103-degree temperatures in Bloomington, Indiana, when my water pump and timing belt. Well, my water pump blew and my timing belt. It was part of that, and so they have to replace both of those things, and that couldn't be done. There wasn't even anybody that could look at my car in Bloomington, Indiana, for a month, not to mention the fact it was going to cost over $2,000. So that's just not a survivable hit for a gig worker. That's why this isn't a legitimate business. And it's not because, and that doesn't make me bitter like crazy old Steve Askin, Lion Steve, Dad Dash 13, who ruined his career being a psychopath and committing felonies on the internet. That's not something Steve Askin's going to tell you. Yeah, we're essentially workers. Yeah, we're essential. We were essential for a very short time, and essential slaves was what we always were. I wrote that then, and I'd say the same thing now. Essential to disposable. That's right. Well, I mean, well, what other things are essential? Well, fuel is essential, right? Gas is essential. It's also limited. It ruins the environment, and it's expensive, and might destroy our world. So, I mean, essential, just that we can be burning essential things up. That's what humans do. We burn essential things up. Right now we're just burning up humanity. You think human lives aren't essential? You think all these women, men, children, old people, everybody were blown apart in war zones in their neighborhoods? You think those people weren't essential? Their body parts were not as essential as your body parts. Their bodily fluids leaking onto the pavement in war were not as essential as your bodily fluids. That's a very American thing to think that your bodily fluids leaking out onto the pavement as a dead person are less are more important than their bodily fluids. But that's what we think. That's our theory as Americans. Banker wars. Yep, that's right. That's right. War is good for business. War is good for business. People don't go to war. Governments do. That's right. I have many classmates and friends from the nation of Russia and nations all over the world, and I ain't never had no wars with them, and I refuse to. So, if you want me to go start punching my friends in the face on nature trails around the world, I'm just going to tell you no. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not interested in your wars. I'm sorry. And like I said, even though it might be one of the most important issues in the world, I don't read about war on a daily basis. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever what the American government is saying about the wars in different parts of the world or the possibility of wars. I do not concern myself with it. I spend every day working to get the correct information to you about the gig economy because that's my job. That's my full time job. I ain't no dad dash 13 with 25 kids cruising around in a car playing games. My job is to write for you. You think I don't take my job seriously? I've worked every day for the last year and a half writing this book for you. You think I don't take my job seriously? Working 16 hours a day, I sleep and work, and people threaten my life while I do it. Isn't that fun? You want my job? You can have my job. Go ahead, write me a book. I'll read it. I'll read your book before you read my book. How's that? Make you a deal. That's a deal from Dad Dash. I'll read your book before you read my book. Hello, DoorDash Revolution, sir. I enjoyed very much your broadcasting with Torp last night. I was enjoying myself a college football game. Uh, and so I did not see it till today, but I enjoyed it very much, sir. Thank you for doing that. You do know of any glitches? Supposedly there's glitches with other apps. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about what a glitch is. A glitch is just called a feature. Okay. This is not a tree that grew in your garden. This is a car in your driveway. A car will not grow in your driveway, Mike Zisman. No matter if you got car seeds, you can put your car seeds on the driveway. Still ain't going to grow you a car. Okay. So DoorDash is a car. It's not organic. Okay. Let's say something. What's an organic market? Let's see the market for seafood. That's an organic market. You got to go catch them. You got to sell them. You got to market them. You got to eat them. You got to cook them. You got to do all those things. That's a real market. It's a real product. That's not DoorDash. Okay. DoorDash is not organic. So anything that happens to that car, if you get a car in your driveway and you look at your tires, you can't go, well, maybe the tires grew there. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Well, maybe the tailpipe grew there then. No, it didn't. There's no part of a car that's ever going to grow in your driveway, Mike. No part of a car that's ever going to grow in your driveway. There is no glitch that's ever going to grow in a software program. If a software program got something that's a real glitch, that means it crashes. That's a crash. That's a patch. That's a security problem. That's some kind of problem that they got to fix, right? Just like you fix a car. Now, if they got something that works, that's called a feature. That's called a feature. So all these things that you all call them glitches, that's a misnomer in and of itself. Just like the gig economy, just like which is just our economy, and just like being a dasher, which is actually being a slave, or just like gig workers, which are actually app slaves. So it's just a misnomer, and it's an intentional misnomer. They're giving you bad information. They're giving you bad information. So every glitch is just a feature, which is why, of course, people know about them. We had that statement from the Steve Johnson, the creepy Steve Johnson of the rideshare rodeo. God knows what his motivations are, but we had his statement that his friend Jeff at Para Works, or was it Solo? I don't remember which one of these companies, but Steve said, and I quote, "There's 125 identified uh, quote glitches end quote in DoorDash." And so those are exploits. Those are feature exploits. Those are things that you go through the processes of a computing system. That's not organic. If it was organic, if it was a quote glitch, if it was a quote error, it would make something not work. It wouldn't make something work. Okay. Your tires did not grow on the car. I hope that explains that for you, Mike. Let's see. Yes, more tech. Sinful Toaster. Yes, tech is a helping us. I was born to Depression, World War II dead. Yeah, well, okay, there you go. There you go. So, Sinful Toaster, you might be older than some of the other folks around here. Yes, my grandparents were in the Depression. and they were Jewish folks in the Depression, and were treated very very badly, very very badly as slaves and workers. So I understand that as well. Uh, kind of lucky, got a different view of things. That's right. That's right. The people right now, and even good people and bad people and indifferent people, there's people out there giving you a lot of bad information because they just don't have a good view of things, and they might think they know things they don't. They think they're a doctor, they think they're an economist, they think they're an expert on the gig economy, but they're not. They're just people that are experts in giving you bad information. I was born to boomers. I'm a Carter baby. Yep, me too. You're younger than me, Vartan. I'm a 55. You're a 44. But yes, yes, sir. That generation was boomers. Again, they were stuck in the Vietnam War. They were through that time. So that was a difficult time period in our country, and that was really the last time there was any real anti-war movement either. Which is interesting, because what have they done? They've taken over our world, and all they want to do is have wars until we're all dead, which I do not appreciate. The glitch is up and running. Oh, yes, sir. Easy prod. It's always up and running. I hope that bastard Glitch Dash is doing a broadcast tonight so I can watch me some Glitch Dash, is what I'm a hoping. I'm a hoping. I'm a hoping and a wondering. Hello, Easy Prod. Okay, the glitch is up and running. Yep, yep, yep. Glitch Freedom, Smedley Butler. Glad it was leaked to the bottom feeders. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So who leaked it? Dad Dash leaked it. Dad Dash 13 Steve leaked it to me on Friday night. And on Saturday morning, I made you a video and said, hey, tonight I'm going to do the broadcast called the beginning and the end of DoorDash. And I'm going to tell you what's going on. And I did. And so ever since that day, which is 2 months ago now, I guess, ever since that day, it's been a shit show. And they want to blame the shit show on me. They want to blame the shit show on people being haters of Pedro, or haters of somebody, or conspiracy theories, or whatever kind of silliness. They want to blame that thing because they don't want to take the accountability. They don't want to take the accountability for what they've done, which has been lying to you for years, exploiting you. You the glitch. They're the glitch. DoorDash is the glitch. Glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. Glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. Glitch, glitch, glitch. They been a glitching you. Okay. Smedley Butler, glad it was leaked to the bottom feeders. Well, yes, sir. Dad Dash and always Cherry and everything. That was very strange for me that Dad Dash would give it to me as the leak, knowing that I would be writing about it and broadcasting about it the next day, not tell anybody, flip on me for some bizarre reason that I do not understand, and then turn into a psychopath hanging out with people like Tommy looking to commit felonies on the internet. This is something I do not understand, and I will never try to explain something to you I do not understand. I'll just tell you, I do not understand. I do not understand. Pedro's working on his manifesto. Well, Pedro's acting really mighty bizarre lately. Actually, tonight, I got to give the man credit. I thought his interview tonight was at least sane. I thought he stayed on topic. They were both incorrect. They're giving you incorrect information, but at least he's talking to a real person, and he was being a real person. Um, I tried to be Pedro's teacher. I tried to say to Pedro, "Hey Pedro, hi Pedro." Yeah, I got a fly on my nose. I think I had a fly on my nose. I would say to hey Pedro, I'm trying to teach you something. This is a game. You're giving out incorrect information. And he didn't want to learn. He didn't want to learn. I couldn't figure out why he didn't want to learn. So Pedro can do better. Excuse me, Pedro can do better. Pedro just doesn't choose to do better. Pedro knows what he doesn't know. Pedro knows he's not an economist. Now, I think Pedro did say that he went to college. I think I heard Pedro say he got an undergraduate degree at some time or went to college, and that's fine. Pedro's obviously got some skills in different areas, but if he has some expertise in business and from his education that he thinks we should know of as his credibility marker for his knowledge, I'd like to see it, because I don't think he's produced that. And so, if he's going to give you factually incorrect information and then misrepresent himself as an expert, he's not. Again, I'd say that's on Pedro. Can't ask me to like give him more compliments when he's giving you factually incorrect information. Car seats for president. Yes, car seats would be a tremendous boon to our American economy, because we ain't got no manufacturing. Maybe we can have some seeds. Maybe we can get ourselves in the seed business. My dad had a saying, "You think you know, but you don't." Well, that is very true, sir. I mean, I'd say that's true for most of our country, including my growing up. Is that we were lied to. We were lied to. I was lied to. I was told that Martin Luther King was a great hero and that he died for civil rights, but that things had changed and people had learned and were going to do different. And I was told that the Vietnam War was an atrocity and genocide, that the Americans were responsible for killing 2 million people. And I knew my parents' friends, and I knew many personal friends that were Vietnam veterans that had physical and mental maladies from being in a war zone. Vietnam War is extremely close to my life. I have one of my very close friends' father was killed in Vietnam, and I grew up with that. So this was my war, right? This was my war. This was the war I was literally born into. I was born during the Tet Offensive, which was one of the great awful battles of the Vietnam War, where there was much loss of life on the American side, in addition to the Vietnamese side, where there was always loss of life because we were having the war in their country. We were putting their bodily fluids into body parts all over the ground because that was okay for somebody. And of course, we never we the American military never won, never lost. Nobody won and lost allegedly. It finally ended, and then but we were supposed to learn something. That boy, that intervention. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. I got to come in and I'll see you in a minute. Uh, Sorry, I'm just about getting interrupted by a housemate. Don't want to get interrupted by the housemates. Uh, so uh, this was assumed by me and many other people that we had learned something. And believe me, I was mighty dismayed as I got into my young adulthood and we started having new wars with my college classmates and other people in Iraq and other places. I was a little bit too old to be of the age of the people fighting those wars, except for the leadership who I knew personally. I had some classmates in college that were in ROTC and ended up being in positions of military leadership in Iraq, and I have family members and friends that ended up being in positions of military leadership in Iraq. That was a terrible war as well. So we don't seem to have learned anything. We seem to be perpetuating these same issues, but it's because the people that are doing this are profiting from it. There's a military industrial complex. There's a prison industrial complex that's gaining from putting people like us in jail without justice. Now, not the rich people. The rich people get justice and lawyers and all that kind of stuff. People like us in the gig economy, we're the ones that also fill the jails. We're the ones that also send our kids to war, and we're the ones who will die in the wars when the wars happen, because the rich people are going to be living in their bunkers in New Zealand and they'll be on their private yachts. Well, we're having the nuclear war or whatever else we're doing, and they plan to out survive us. Don't I write this all the time? Don't be fooled. They all plan to out survive you. They think you're going to die relatively soon, probably in many different ways. They just plan to live longer. Can you handle the truth? I mean, you can't handle the truth. You think the gig economy is the most serious thing you got going on? Well, it is. It is. But it's not because of Pedro. It's not because of a glitch. It's because the gig economy is the fight for human employment and the fight for your freedom from the corporatocracy. If the corporatocracy is going to be able to shove a smartphone up your anus and control you 24/7 with that smartphone at the penalty of decapitation or death or deplatforming or whatever else. Ooh, you're gonna be in big trouble, and we're right about there. We're right about there. Already a dictator of a country or somebody that had an enslaved workforce could just put a smartphone in the hands of any worker with the DoorDash technology privately deployed. Put a cell phone in their hand, and that DoorDash technology is going to enslave that person for the rest of their existence. You think that's not dystopian? You think what these guys built is not a global slave market? Because it is. That's what DoorDash is. DoorDash is a global slave market, and so you get these people like Steve Johnson and the Pedros and whoever else wants to tell you Sergio Vetti Anybody that wants to tell you maybe there's some good things about the gig economy, maybe there's some things we ought to save, well, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're setting you up to be a slave. They're setting you up to die. They're setting you up to make money and profiteer off the end of your existence and the end of the existence of your children and the end of the existence of the human race, very possibly. That's how serious corporate AI is. That is what quality of an exploitation machine DoorDash has made. You think these people on the internet are flipping people like Steve Askin, Dad Dash, and flipping Steve Johnson and flipping all these people and getting this glitch dash bastard out there? You think these people are doing it because they don't have money at stake? Oh hell no. These people are fighting for their corporate existence. DoorDash knows they got to win the slaves over. They got to have the slaves demanding to stay slaves, or they're going to be. If the slaves uprise, then DoorDash is dead. You can put DoorDash out of business in 5 seconds. You can put DoorDash out of business in 5 seconds. You just delete them off your phone. They're out of business. You can just forget them, just like I forget the nuclear war. I mean, there might be a bomb that drops on my head. Ain't gonna be nothing I do about it. I ain't gonna be watching it coming on TV. I ain't gonna be watching the guy riding the bomb like Doctor Strangelove on the way to blow me up. I'll just go poof like everybody else. But that's life. Any of us could go poof at any moment. I just talked to a friend of mine today, and he was telling me how a good friend of his just dropped dead of a heart attack right outside his house. You think that can't happen to me? You think that can't happen to you? You think we got some kind of guarantee that we're going to be in the gig economy and be fleeced and enslaved, and then we're going to get some reward in DoorDash heaven? You crazy. You crazier than Steve Johnson and Steve Askin, Rideshare, Dad Dash, Rodeo, Heidi Chair, Hodeo put together with a little Pedro DoorDash Santiago sprinkled on top. That's how crazy you is. Hey, Glitchy Glitch Dash, you want to come on the air with me? I sent you a link, sir. There's a link. You want to come on the phone with me? You want to come on the YouTubes with me? Glitch Dash Thomas Schubeck, you bastard. I challenge you. I challenge you. I challenge you to a fight me. You should have the link, son. And this thing on? This thing on? Oh, whoa, look. Oh, well, looky here. Looky here. Sir.
Well, well, well.
Well, well, well. Look what crawled in the back door. Look what crawled in
Dr.
the back
Dad
door.
Dash.
Well,
Dr.
well,
Dad Dash, soft lyric, if I don't say so myself.
well, sir. Well, sir. Well, sir. Uh, well, Glitch Dash, it's a mighty fine to be. You and I ain't never shared a video screen before.
This is the first time. This is the
This is the
first time.
first.
We
This is the
tried we
very
tried a
first
few
time.
weeks ago, but we did glitch out. We did glitch.
I glitched out. I was too tired. I said Dad Dash need to take him a nap.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, the W says my facial expression while Robert Reese was explaining the animal husbandry of dogs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was one of the most amazing broadcasts I ever been a part of. And I've been on a lot of TV and the radio and the YouTubes, and
and
I ain't never seen animal husbandry before.
I've heard the process, but I never heard it described in quite such graphic detail.
Yeah, that was really good. But see, this is what I like about Robert Reese as a friend and as a broadcaster is that Robert Reese ain't going to sit there and flinch away from the truth. You want to troll Robert Reese with the truth? He's just going to come back at you and tell you the truth, and then you got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you do have some hot facts on your hands at that point.
Yeah. So what's up for Glitch Dash tonight? You going to be entertaining us? I was looking on. I
You
didn't see
know,
you have any notification.
yeah, no, I just woke up, man, and I just realized that you had sent that link, so I just wanted to click on that, see what you had
Oh,
going
sweet.
on.
Sweet. Well, I mean, mostly I've been talking about bad information because I was watching the Pedro and the what's that guy's name? Gig Drive and Thrive, and they were giving out bad economic information.
Bad gambling advice again,
Well,
man.
worse, no, no, not just bad gambling advice tonight. Tonight it was also bad economic advice and bad financial advice. So it was a trifecta. It was a trifecta of bad advice.
I better get my notepad.
Yeah, you really should, because this is the thing I'm trying to explain to people. I'm like, these people are leading down the path to your own destruction. This is awful. They're giving you
You
bad
know,
information. They're not an economist. I'm an economist. I'm a real economist, Thomas. I can call myself an economist. They ain't economists. They're
it
not
looks good on
economists.
paper.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying things like mileage is your friend. Steve Johnson of the Rideshare Hodeo says mileage is your friend in all caps. And I'm like, how is mileage your friend? Do you work for Exxon? I mean, how is mileage your friend? In what way?
I would say in the way that somebody's probably getting a kickback from their third party app. I don't know.
Cheapers creepers. That just makes no sense. And then they were saying the other thing they were saying that made no sense at all is that that the gig economy, corporate cabal, is being hurt by inflation like us consumers, and that just ain't true. That's the opposite. The
They
more the
said that.
inflation goes up, the more money they make, and the more we suffer. It's the opposite. They're benefiting from the inflation. We're dying from the inflation. So these guys is telling the opposite. These are very stupid individuals. I'm just upset with the misinformation. I don't even want to call them names. I'm just telling you, like, they're out here giving you absolutely incorrect information about the world we live in, and that's just scary to me. I mean, how much do people have time for bad information in their lives? Aren't we trying to survive right now? I'm trying to survive. I don't know about you, son. I need a roof over my head. I need food to eat, and I got to sleep at night. That's my priorities.
Yeah, yeah. And none of this bad gambling advice, this bad economic advice. It's not going to help.
Uh, it's toxic. They're telling people to go jump off the cliff. You know, I mean, it's like our growing up, our parents, whether they were good parents or bad parents or nice parents or kind of mean parents, they said, "What if everybody else jumps off the cliff? You're going to jump off the cliff too?" I mean, who hasn't had their parents tell them that? Right?
That's
And
right.
and so what are we
That's
going to
right.
do? We're going to go jump off the cliff behind a guy named Gig Drive and Thrive who doesn't understand economics and is telling you that inflation is something that it's not? I mean, come on now.
I'm not jumping. I can tell you that right now.
I ain't jumping for anybody. I got living to do. You want me to stop living? You're going to have to work harder.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see who's in the chat here. We got Sinful Toaster, Big V. What's
Oh,
up? The W.
we got all the
What's up, you
bastards.
guys?
We
Chow
got all the
shows. Az
bastards.
Prod. Briggs. Mike. Mike Zisman. The
Yeah.
DoorDash Revolution. What's up, my friend? Bravo. Look at all these beautiful people.
Hello, Hassan Mahub. Hassan, it's nice to see you again, sir. I don't. We
Scrimpy.
have not. It's nice to see you. I saw you in the Glitch Dash chat before on other evenings, and it's nice to see you. DoorDash isn't economically feasible. You are correct, sir. It is. It is wonderful to see somebody like you speak the truth.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well,
So,
I just
so
wanted to
glitchy
pop in there,
glitch.
Jeff Thomas Black.
Yeah, man. So glitchy glitch. You gonna be broadcasting for us in a little whiles on the YouTube?
Well, I think we might have to.
Okay, well, I'm excited about that because I'm about to sign off, but I'm glad you came on before I
Okay.
did because I wanted to kind of plug your show, and I'll be in your chat later. I'm gonna be laying in bed in your chat, just relaxing. I like to
Thank you.
I like to listen to
Thank
the
you.
Glitch Dash while I sleep. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and the Glitch Dash still be talking. It's just fine. I like it.
Well,
So anyway,
before
hey,
I, yeah,
let's say bye to everybody. You want to tell everybody you got any plans for tonight? You want to tell people about before we hang up? You got
yeah, yeah.
anything
Let me
interesting you want to
just
talk about?
I like I said, I just woke up. Let me give me a minute to collect myself here. I'm gonna
Sure, I'll say
get
goodbye to
some.
everybody while you think for a second about your show. Why don't we do that? So this
All
has
right. Well,
been
let me just get some
yes,
final
sir.
words here, man. I just want to say, JTB, thank you for everything that you've done for this community so far. Thank you for everything you continue to do. You are a hero. You are a
Man.
godsend. Just all respect and all admiration goes to you, sir. This entire community is behind you, and thank you. A pillar of the community, folks. That's JTB.
Oh
Thank you
man.
for having me on for your guest appearance here. And with that, I'm gonna sign off. Look for the link soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Thomas. And I return all those good feelings to you. It is absolutely my pleasure to work with such fine people and to see leadership develop within the community that's going to change that community from the inside. Uh, and people younger than me and people with different energies and at different points in their life, right? I mean, I raised my kids. My kids are grown. I get to do different things with my life now, and you guys get to carry on this fight in a way I'm no longer prepared to do. I'm getting a little old and tired. My body's been beat up quite a bit from the life I've lived, and I don't like to be in pain all the time. I don't want my bones and my back and my neck and everything to hurt. I want to live a healthy life while I'm alive. So I ain't going to do some of the same fighting I used to do. Right. That's why I'm a writer now. That's why I like to write. I've had an interesting life. I got a lot to write about. But yeah, man, I love me the Thomas Schubeck Glitch Dash, Brian DoorDash sucks. Those two gentlemen have become very important in my life, just as friends, and I would say the same about many other people. But those two gentlemen in particular have picked up the ball and run with it in a way that has highlighted some of the work that I've done for many years now and wanted to share with you. And that's a true pleasure for me, not because that gets me some kind of attention I needed or didn't have before, but it's reaching the audience I wanted to reach. I mean, I'm here. I'm not here because I don't already have an audience of readers around the world to do. I have an audience. I probably am. I'm read in 28 different countries right now, I think. And people know me. Academics know me. Professors know me. Lawyers know me. Business people know me. I've done the things I wanted to do in my activism and my writing. But what I wasn't able to do is help the people that needed the help most, because it's hard to write a book for people that aren't really looking for books. It's hard to be part of a community unless you understand that community. So by doing gig work for 2 years, like I've been doing, like I did, 5,520 words, or by doing gig work like my friend Brian DoorDash Sucks does today, every day doing gig work and doing work and staying informed about what's going on, not to make money for himself, but to teach you. And what Thomas Schubeck, who he talks about the fact that he's had Glitch Dash has had a fairly difficult life and has had some rejection from his family, which I've shared at times, and I think that's a very hard part of life when you get rejected by your own family. That hurts a lot, and that happens sometimes when you stand up for principles or you have a different political philosophy or different life philosophy than your family. That can happen. Uh, and that's something that we all have to get by and grow through. And so when we're dealing with the YouTube trolling, and whether we like one person or we don't like another person, or we like somebody's broadcasting style or we don't like somebody's broadcasting style, that's just all part of life. That's just all part of life. And so we don't want to get confused between the people and the problem. There's lots of people around. Some of them are going to be on your side, and you'll think, well, I want to hang out with that person. Some of them will be on your side, and you'll say, I don't want to hang out with that person. And then some people you see as on an opponent side, you'll think, I don't like them at all. Well, they're all still just people. They're all still just people. I think we can expect each other to be honest and transparent and truthful. And I think anybody that's not, we can hold them accountable as a community. And if they don't like it, that's probably their problem. That's surely their problem. So I would encourage all of you to make up your own mind. Listen to, if somebody's going to write you a book or an audio book or write you some words or talk to you, well, just listen for yourself and then make your own decisions. Now, if you got people telling you about inflation and mileage and the gig economy, and they don't seem like they're qualified to do that in any real economic sense, well, you might not want to start. You might want to stop listening to them. You might want to protect yourself and you might want to protect your neighbors. I do not agree with Dino of saying it like it was, that we are not our brother's keepers. We are our brother and sister's keepers. We are required to have equity and equality and freedom and peace in our heart, or else we're just not a good human being. And I don't really care what your religion is or what your philosophy is or whatever else. If you want to be yourself a shitty human being, be yourself a shitty human being, but don't like walk around pouting when everybody says you're a shitty human being. You just are what you are. Or you can be a good human being like the Thomas Glitch Dash Schubeck. You can be a good human being like Brian DoorDash Sucks and tell people the truth even when they attack you. Well, those are the people I respect. I respect everybody that's out there telling their truth, whatever that may be. And hey, be smart. I don't tell you. I do not ever intend to tell you something that I don't know about and that I have not studied. I fact check myself upwards, backwards, frontwards, and sideways. I have a complete and total personal paranoia of giving anybody information that's incorrect. Because I assume if I do, somebody's going to find it and come back and tell me, and then I'll have to correct myself. That hadn't happened. Nobody's ever come back to me in the year and a half I've been writing this book and posting this stuff publicly. Nobody's ever come back to me and proven me incorrect on any point I've made. Not once. Who can you say that about? Can you say that about the Pedro or the Steve Johnson or anyone else? No, you can't. I'm good at my job. I work very hard. I was very ready to write this book for you. When I started writing this book, before I wrote the first word, I knew this book was going to be for you, and I knew it was going to sell lots and lots of copies because there's lots and lots of you. I don't want to make money off you. I mean, I'd like to live and like eat and have a house and stuff. I'd appreciate that. I've been relatively homeless and relatively broke for a relatively long time. So I hope someday that maybe I can economically survive in a way that is more humane for myself. And I'd love to do some things for my family and my friends that I can't do when I got no money. And I'd like to have a partner in life and some of those things that many of us like to have. But but I sacrifice whatever I have to sacrifice to do this job because I believe in what we're doing here. I believe that this is not only important, but it's necessary beyond any uh, concept that humanity has. This is the fight for our survival. It doesn't matter to me whether everybody understands that or not today. I do. I do. I know it for a fact. I know it for a fact. Just like I know for a fact we already beat DoorDash. We already won. Doesn't mean we don't have to keep fighting, but we already won. This already won. My book's already written. You already know the truth. The people have awoken. They ain't going to push the boulder back up the hill. They ain't going to put the genie back in the bottle. It just can't happen. It's just not the way things work. I mean, FTX ain't going to be back online. Enron ain't coming back into business to make a false market for energy. That's just not going to happen. It's over. It's over. The beginning of the end of DoorDash was 2 months ago. Okay. Now we're in the middle of the ending of DoorDash. Okay. Now that you guys have awoken, we've had this battle. Glitch Dash and Brian and Robert Reese and Eli and who else? Who else been doing the Rev and Torp and everybody. Hassan Mabub, who is just in here. I don't even know Hassan yet, but he said the algorithm is erased to the bottom. So Hassan Mahub is now one of your leaders. He's one of the people in your community that knows the truth and he's spreading the truth. You know the truth. You spread the truth. I can't do it. I'll write you a book, but you got to get off my lawn. I like you, but you got no. I'm just joking. I'd love to have you on my lawn, just as long as you don't want to beat me up on a nature trail. So anyway, let's watch that Thomas Schubeck tonight. I will see you in that Thomas Schubeck Glitch Dash chatting. And well, it's been a pleasure talking to y'all. It's been 92 minutes. I was just, I didn't plan on broadcasting tonight at all, but I just had to be upset with this young man Gig, Drive, and Thrive, and Pedro giving you incorrect information. I ain't saying I hate them. I ain't saying I'm trolling them. I ain't even subscribed to their channel, and I didn't make a comment in their chat. But they're giving you incorrect information, and I think you need to know that. So I wish you all a great night. I think tomorrow is the Monday. So I hope Monday sees you all well. Maybe some of y'all taking the day off tomorrow. I hope so. I hope you take the day off from that shitty app slavery and you enjoy yourself some breathing and a thinking and a learning, because this pollutes your mind, right? It pollutes your consciousness. This is inhumane what you're being asked to do. If it feels bad to you, there's a reason it feels bad to you. Your consciousness is telling you something. Your intuition is telling you something. Your religion, your thoughts, your process, the universe, it's talking to you and telling you this ain't right. This isn't natural. This isn't natural. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not just. If your neighbor's being robbed, then that's a problem for you. And if it's not a problem for you, you're just an awful person. That's just how it works. All right, everybody, you have a good night tonight, and I'll be seeing you in the chats, and we'll see you on the interwebs in whatever future days we see each other. All right, good night, everyone.